Hey, afternoon, everybody. Yeah, good evening, Steve. Hey, in DMA, I don't think I've seen you before. You're not a blue guy, so we're going to make you blue. How's that? And I think I'll go run the camera a little bit. So I got the time lapse started, and I wanted to hello, Mark 10. I wanted to run just kind of a quick one this afternoon. Instead of going through the big oscillations, I want to see what this thing does. It's been sitting uh, with the weights in this east position for about a week now. So we just see the typical oscillations that you get from one of these things reacting to me walking around in here or whatever. I'll let this go for about, maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Let's say 16 minutes. Let me set the timer. That'll give us time for two total oscillations, assuming it is oscillating. I think it is. ANDMA, yeah. For some reason, I didn't have you as a moderator. Yeah, I've been speaking a lot. I've had the mic turned off. Thank you for pointing that out. Let's see what all I missed. I think I said hello to OALM. Well, maybe I didn't. Demon Orb, Tusk, of course, Robert, Monochromatic Light Source, and O'Hara. I say Tusk already, Hads already, I think. Yep, sorry about that. Sorry about the date thing. It's a manual setting over there in a label stuck in OBS, and I forget to change the damn thing. With the date on the clock, I can't do anything about it. I can't lie about that. That comes from the from the time service. Anyway, it is fixed. We're back in good shape. So that oscillation that's going on, and this is really about as still as this thing ever gets, but that's not moving more than 2 millimeters one way or the other. And we've been watching it now through the equivalent of at least 2.5 oscillation periods. So I believe what I'm going to do is move the weights around. Hello, Dora. Sorry, didn't mean to startle you. All right, move these things. Now let's see what it does. Let's see, I'm going to take one of these, take this red one and put it right about there, because that's more or less where the center was. And then we'll move the green one up here somewhere. Because I think, let's see, which way should this thing be going? Oh yeah, should be going to the right. Hopefully. And it's starting to move a little bit. I haven't run the thing like this very many times, where I just start from a more or less resting position and go to the opposite. My mic's gated, huh? Hey, let's see. Let me see what I can do to fix that. I'm not sure if that makes it better or worse like that. Yeah, I think. Let's try it right about in there. See how that does. Let me know if that's any better. Hello, Chris Durham. Oh, hell. Oh, well. Anything's better than a leaky microphone. I must admit I haven't done a whole lot of playing around out here to try to sort out any of the audio. Just pretty much got it working well enough to do what we were doing. What do you mean my air conditioning unit's going to invalidate the results, Clive? Man, I hate that. Because as hot as it is outside, I'm not about to turn that thing off. I promise you that. I've put out a couple of videos in the last day or two, in case anybody hasn't noticed. Just having a little fun with Brian Leakey and our buddy Nathan Oakley. It's hard to believe that Oakley still can't get Coriolis figured out. And I think he can. I think he knows very well how it's actually supposed to work. I'm pretty sure it's intentional on his part, but I think Nathan's just a Poe anyway. Clown's trying to make a living doing this. He has literally nothing interesting to say, and it's the same BS every day. I rarely ever listen to his channel. On occasion, just to see what sort of idiotic crap they might come up with that's worth a laugh or two. Well, we were at 180 millimeters on the scale, and now we're at 240. And all I did was move that big lead ball. I'm thinking that gravity stuff's interfering with our experiment again. Yeah, monochromatic. It is strictly an echo chamber. I Left a comment on Leaky's channel yesterday, which he erased, addressed to Nathan asking when he was going to come out of his echo chamber, and so that we could do a little debate about Coriolis. I'd love to get that clown on with Craig and Conspiracy Cats. Whoops. See if we could sort those boys out. Or that boy, I should say. It's really a stupid argument. The argument's not whether or not there's Coriolis. The argument's whether or not the Earth is spinning. If the Earth is spinning, you cannot. It's not possible not to have Coriolis. Hey, Real Cygnus, what's going on, man? I'm not sure that in O'Hara, I'm not sure that the covenants for the neighborhood around here would allow me to build a trebuchet. That's an intriguing thought, though. Yeah, we could launch a few flurfs. That'd be funny. Yeah, those clowns will still demand the requirement for 2 reference frames. And every time I've gotten into it with one of them, it's always the same. They read that paragraph out of Wikipedia. Which is a great definition of a rotating frame of reference. It's a frame of reference that rotates with respect to an inertial reference frame. Okay, fine. But you don't need the you only need the inertial reference frame reference to say that the damn thing is rotating. Beyond that, nothing happens in that frame of reference. Come on, guys. Get with the program. So you think trebuchets are in there, included in our Second Amendment rights? Lefty, I don't know. They could be. We could look into it. I think the secret is just by, you got to give it a different name. Certainly not a weapon of any sort. It's a valid scientific experiment. Yeah, Mark, I don't think you're going to conceal carry one of them. Unless you can figure out a way to hide a semi-truck in your pocket. So 240 and a half or thereabouts. Now, how far back down will the red dot go? Usually it'll go almost, sometimes even past the original point. We'll see here in a minute. I think that must have been about 179 and a half. More when I look at that. Where the red circle is. I'm going to move it to capture the bottom end of the oscillation here in just a second. Well, in about 2 minutes. So let's see, 180 and 240. Should be getting pretty close to the bottom now. The time stays pretty constant at around 965 seconds. I'm not even going to move it, it's just going to sit right there. Yeah, 16 minutes and 6 seconds or something like that. Didn't quite make it to, I think 180 is about where it is. Okay, now we start the journey back uphill again. And that's at 441. Okay, we got us an experiment going. Next, it says flurf is now a slur amongst the flurfs. You say we never get anywhere with them. Yes, Wade, you're blue. Yes, you are. Yeah, sometimes YouTube messes it up. Oh, 27 people watching. That's great. I love it. That's more people than Bev gets at his place. If anybody ever watches, try thinking. But all you're going to hear, well, I ought to be quiet because pretty much all you hear out of me is Cavendish. All you hear from Bev is level is horizontal. No, it didn't. Level is not horizontal, you idiots. Hello, Robert. Welcome. I don't know where the flirts are. We need some flirts. Hey, Snark. What's happening, man? Yeah, we need a few flirts in here. Liven things up a bit. Start a fight or something. What? Nathan Thompson's now an ex-flirt. What? We don't want him. I don't know what he's going to be, but he can't be one of us. There's no way I'd have anything to do with that idiot. Yeah, Snark, correct. Thanks, Biff. And Arto. Welcome. You're blue now, you should be. level. Level is literally the definition of flat? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I know what level is. Level is that same point of gravitational potential energy all around the globe. And that's not flat. That's got a great big curve in it. Yeah, Clive, I don't know why they're afraid to come in here. I don't know. I mean, they're more than welcome unless they want to come start insulting people. That I don't care much for, but. Yeah, Arto, I know you. I knew you were just joking. That's fine. Yes, Chris, we'll do that. We will certainly let you know if anything happens. I do not expect the law of gravity to be repealed or overturned. Certainly not in the next couple of hours. yeah, yeah, I think you're right. They're afraid of the gravity demons. Oh, that's great, monochromatic. Saw the ISS Friday. That's it's a lot of fun to watch that thing. Kind of takes me back to my childhood when if you do some research into NASA and the early history of the space program. I was a a wee 7-year-old when Sputnik was launched, but I remember it. And I remember the ensuing panic that caused. So all of a sudden, the Russians had stuff flying over the top of us. That wasn't good. But then in the years that followed, we started doing our thing. And the one thing, the one I really remember a lot was Project Echo, where they launched a huge balloon, put it in orbit, and then inflated it just enough to make a reflector out of it. That's what they were doing, was reflecting radio signals off of it. But that thing was really, really bright. And I can recall laying on a beach towel out in my father's backyard watching that thing come over at night. It was absolutely fascinating. But it was big. I want to say that thing was something like 300 feet in diameter, maybe. It was a huge, big thing. Say hello to Chris Warner. Don't know if you've been here before or not, Chris. You're not blue, but you are now. Got you fixed. And Robert, no, I have not seen Greater Sapiens' response to Globe Busters. Has he done something recently? Okay, well, you may be right, 100 feet in diameter. Okay. It was big, I know that. I know it was super, super damn bright, though. Well, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm gonna get back to making a little more content than I have been making over the last year. I've spent way too well. I spent the time I had to spend to get this thing to work. Uh, but I want to pay a little more attention to the debunking, at least for a period. I'm pretty much at a point where it's hard to find anything to talk about. It's all been debunked over and over and over again. You're just repeating yourself. Robert says, "Have you met any flirts?" And I can honestly say, no, I haven't. I would like to. I would like to say that I have good enough sense to stay away from people that are that damn deranged. But I think it's just a simple accident, and the fact that I don't socialize very much anyway. I'll put it this way: there's a couple of them that I wouldn't mind meeting. No, you're right, and actually, they don't. It doesn't matter to them. They're going to continue saying that same silly crap. It's religion for them. They have a religious belief, and they're not going to back off of it. Most of them, I won't say, well, maybe it isn't even most, but I know a lot of them are carry these crazy ideas through just simply because of what they think they read in a book written about religion. Citizen 9 says he never knew they existed until they turned up on the European tour. I didn't realize they existed either until I stumbled across uh, Cool Hard Logic and watched that stuff. That guy's good. And I thought it was hilarious, but then, after watching the first episode, I thought, holy cow, people can't really think this. And one thing led to another, and yeah, almost 3 years later, here I am. The ones that aren't seriously religious are they're all conspirators, every one of them. You can't possibly be involved in this flat earth crap without believing in a conspiracy. Just not possible. Oh, White says the bigger Echo 2 was 135 feet. Yeah, I haven't looked at that thing in years and years. I was just going by memory. I knew it was pretty big, though. I know I vividly remember how bright they were. I'll put it this way: you didn't have any doubt about what you were looking at. That's for sure. See this uh, brightly lit object going over in the sky. What else could it be? Two 233. And back to about 180 again. That's it. 457. I'm going to let it go back upscale. And then when it starts down, I'm going to, at this time at about the midpoint, which is, I don't know, somewhere around 210, I think, I'm going to reverse the weights again. Just having some fun today. Yeah, Dubai. My God. I can't watch that clown. Dubai's voice just makes me want to hit something. Dubai, actually, is what I'd like to hit. That's right, Steve. It Dubai's voice just oozes smugness. You hear it. You can literally hear it in his voice. Smug and stupid. Oven mitts, yeah, you betcha. That is required PPE. Mr. 42, hello. Welcome. You are now a moderator. But don't let that go to your head. Everybody is a moderator. But I haven't really seen you in a while. Where you been hanging out? Yeah, do your best to keep the naughty words to a minimum, but if it's absolutely necessary, well, go ahead. I'm prone to do that myself from time to time. This discussion of the shape of rockets is clearly out of hand. I do not believe you're going to come up with a non-phallic shaped rocket. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, 42, I know what you mean. I missed Creaky's live stream today. Thrust is, oh, here we go. Thrust is important. Yeah, yeah. Gotcha. So that's the reason we don't have any beautiful women in here. You guys keep talking about phallic stuff and thrust. Hmm. Oh, wait, Dora's here. Where's Dora? We've got at least one beautiful woman in here. Yeah, October Sky was a pretty good movie. And hello, Native Texan. I enjoyed that show. I've seen it a number of times. You know, Citizen Nine. Maybe I'm. Yeah, you may be right. Yeah, maybe we need more of that talk. Maybe that's the problem. Dora's not answering, so she's not listening to us, or she's ignoring me. Oops. And let's see, we went to about there. Call it about 228, something like that. $506 or 505. Change, almost. So we're gonna try something a little different this time. Somewhere between in the 200 to 210 range is where the balance it has its maximum velocity. And I want to see what happens if we change the weights at that point. I let it go all the way down to the 180 range where the bottom end of it's been. I can almost cause this thing to stop oscillating. I've done that several times, just messing around. Let me see how many frames we got on the camera right now. $118, so we'll be able to get a few oscillations in. Now let's see, let me go back over to OBS. Yeah, that's close enough. I'm gonna move it. And that should take us down considerably below the 180 level. I have no idea if this data is going to be usable or not, but might as well give it a try. What the heck? What I really want to do is see if there's a way to condense one of these test runs down into something that would fit inside, say, a 4-hour window. And I think we can do that. That would work out well for a classroom. This is a 9 and a harness at the back. What are you talking about? Harness. CGI, huh? Oh, harness. Okay, harness. Sorry, I'm a little slow today. Gotcha. Gotcha. I'll tell you what, if you think those balls are hollow, um, I can assure you they're not hollow. Those things are damned heavy. I mean, they're only about 50 pounds, but they're so little. That little thing's only 6 inches in diameter and it weighs 50 pounds. It will surprise you when you try to pick it up. Bob, where's the riveting play-by-play? I don't know. Apparently, I don't have a riveting play-by-play. All I got is a silly red dot that moves really slow. So we got to look for the bottom of the oscillation on this. Moving it at an odd time like that messes up the period of oscillation. If you move it at exactly the upper or lower extreme, it doesn't. It leaves the oscillation period alone. But when you move it someplace in the middle, you'll change it'll screw up that one period. After that, then it goes back to 16 minutes like it always is. Right now, I have no idea where the bottom of this is going to be. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on it here for a minute. It will tell us when it's ready. I did try a different laser, see if I could improve the dot size, and it was no better than this one is, so I'm just back to the original. I think that's about it right there, finally. We'll try that and see. So that's at about 131 at 5:15. Oh, I know you guys are pulling my chain monochromatic. I realize that. That's fine. I would be I would be hurt if you weren't doing that. So you think it moves fast, huh? 42? Boy, not really. And let's see, I'm working my way down through the chat, guys. I was over there watching the marker for a few minutes. Sexy voice for, yeah, Steve. I go along with that. And Chris Warner, yes, no, I'm not. Well, I'm not that far from the Carolinas. Um, Asheville is about a 2 hour drive, 2.5 hours for me, something like that. Depends on what part of the Carolinas, obviously. Oh, Chris, I'd love to drink a beverage too. Yeah, I see you guys talking about air pockets and stuff. That's possible to have. Um, it's certainly possible to have gas pockets inside the lid if they're not cast properly. So what's going on, Dred? We had a first thing that this doesn't count because it's not using the exact masses Cavendish did, and because it's not done in a vacuum chamber. That's all nonsense. Cavendish used, just in case any of you aren't already aware of this, Cavendish used masses that were 348 pounds. The original design by Michel I think he wanted to use something a little over 100 pounds, and Cavendish wasn't happy with a number of the features of the design that Michel came up with, so he pretty much trashed the whole thing and went for much larger external masses. He went for 12-inch diameter lead balls, which will weigh right at 350 pounds. Well, that's just out of the question. Number one, I don't even want to think about having to try to handle and I don't have anybody helping me, so I don't have any way to really handle anything like that. But when I stopped and looked at the physics, figured out how much deflection I could get and what sort of forces I could get, even using 50 pounds, I still get about 40% as much force as Cavendish had. So that keeps you within the range that, you just have to adjust the size of the torsion wire slightly to make it all work out. The really important part is that you get enough deflection that that just reading the inaccuracies in reading the amount of deflection don't mess you up. And you want an oscillation period that's not too extensive. Now this wire that's in here now is about right at 16-minute oscillation period, and that's about as far as I want to stretch it, really. You go too much more than that, now you start to get into the area where you are questioning whether or not something drifted during the period of time it took to get 4 or 5 decent oscillations out of it. But as long as you can control those factors, keep an eye on what you're doing, it's not a problem. And it's quite easy to work that out. I've been able to get within 10% of the oscillation period and deflection that you actually achieve just through the calculations, and you can chalk the rest of it up to variability in the material that the torsion wire is made out of. Just because they sell you a piece of wire and tell you it's 0.007 doesn't mean it's not 0.0071 or 0.0068. It could be. And I didn't bother buying ultra accurate micrometers or anything like that to be able to measure that stuff with. Don't really care. All I need to know is what the oscillation period is at the end of the day. But then that other point about it not being in a vacuum is just nonsense. Cavendish didn't do it in a vacuum, quite clearly. There would be no reason for him to do that. He didn't. Well, he would not have had the capability of doing it in the first place. Now, if you're trying to get, if you're really trying to get an accurate measurement of the value of big G to 3 decimals or 4 decimals, yeah, you better do it in a vacuum. And you better have something a hell of a lot more sophisticated than this wooden box over here, sitting in a garage. But now you're talking about spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on the apparatus required. And that was never the intention. I just wanted to see if I wanted to see what it took, what it would have taken Cavendish to make this thing work, and I think we found out. Yeah, I heard a lot of stuff. I've heard a lot of stuff out of the flat earthers, just trying to discredit this effort any way they can, which is exactly what I expected them to do, and what I won't permit them to do is control the experiment. They're not going to do that. They don't have any skin in this game. They come up with a legitimate concern or complaint, I will be glad to address it. But just trying to find fault with this, no, I'm sorry. Go away, I don't need you. Yeah, Dredd, that's what chemo wanted. Yeah, it'd be great if I had a way to put this whole thing in a vacuum chamber, but I don't. And I don't care. I can get within a percent of the accepted value of Big G, and that's pretty good. That's close enough. That met the expectations. That's better than the expectations I had, really. I never thought I could get that close. So I'm quite happy with the outcome. And if they don't like it, I don't care. Didn't do it for them anyway. I'm watching real time over on OBS, so not seeing what's going on in the chat. I don't know if any of you guys paid attention to what BioDuel was doing over on Jim Panda's server, but um, he uh, actually put one a little balance together that he did do in a vacuum, and of course it demonstrates that mass attracts mass, just exactly like everybody knew it would anyway. So. Chris, the vernier it's a duplication of the way Cavendish made his measurements, and it's really there more for show than anything. I used it one time. I made one complete set of measurements just using the vernier, just to demonstrate that it could be done. But it's a royal pain in the ass to do it. So it's not really showing you anything that you're not seeing on the laser and seeing even better on the laser. Hey, Shaky. You can't know the value of G without knowing the radius of the Earth. Really? Oh, okay, Lefty. Um, yeah, using a mass suspended over a balance. You know, we've seen that. There's an old video or old film, I guess it actually would have been from way back when, where somebody actually did that. But I swear I question it. And when you look at the forces involved, I hope you got a way of measuring a few nanonewtons. You're not going to get much more than that. I question whether it can be done or not. Oh yeah, it could. Yeah, you're right, Lefty. It could be expensive. I really don't know if you can do it. I think it's awful touchy. Just run the numbers and see what you come up with. I know I've got what's in here right now are 780 gram small masses and 22.03 kilogram large masses. And the attraction between one small mass and one large mass is it 80 nanonewtons, something like that. Let's see, I could figure that out pretty quick. 0.78 times 22.03 equals that divided by is equal to that times 6.67. Yeah, I think it's something like 54 nanonewtons. It's not very much. Meanwhile, what's the red dot doing? Roaming back and forth. Looking good. Hey, Chris. Glad you dropped in. Thanks, man. Damn egg timer. Annoying thing. And we'll call that 211. $539. Temperature's still holding at 22 point something. Can't quite see it. Let me get where I can. All right, 22.6. So the temperature has been stable in here within 0.2 of a degree throughout this test. And I think that's a condition that our friend Henry would have had a hard time duplicating. I'm sure at times he probably had very stable temperature conditions, but you know, without some form of atmospheric control, he was just at the mercy of whatever the elements did. So. Got 27 people watching. Hey, I really appreciate you guys showing up. Just thought I'd do a little reasonably quick live stream today and have some fun. I'm trying not to do I don't want to do a 3-hour marathon. What did the gas meter read? Um, about half a gas, no matter where you put it. And that's the magnetic field of the Earth. No, I did not use a PKE meter. I did not. Well, it'll be good to get another test in the books today, and I'll probably spend some time this evening writing a little bit more on the report. I think this makes six tests in this series. I probably want to do maybe another 6, 4 or 6, something like that, and that'll be good enough. They'll already had 28, I think, or 29. So we've certainly run it enough to have a good data set. That's another thing the flat earthers don't understand. They have no idea why you can't run this and get exactly the same number every time you run it. And just like their goofy damn photographic crap, you're going out there making a picture from a location one time, one day, doesn't show you anything. Do it 20 times, do it 30 times, and then tell me what you got. You run a test like this, you run it 20 or 30 times. I like that, Hads. That's cool. Let's see where we are on the counter on the camera over here. We'll be done in 1 minute. Perfect. And that should just get the last peak in, which is really good. Call it peak. It's actually just the extreme of the oscillation. So the time lapse is now complete. And the camera is generating a time lapse. Well, Optimine, I have to say, actually, you're wrong. I'm not a Freemason. Don't accuse me of that. Mass most certainly does attract mass. There is a force there, and it's undeniable. Now, you don't have to believe it. And frankly, I don't care if you believe it or not. But what do you mean, why don't I show you what my contraption is? Have you seen how many damn videos I've got out there? Have you paid any attention at all? Obviously, you have not. This thing has been documented better than anything else anybody has done. There are literally hundreds of hours of video taking you all the way through the design of it, the construction of it, all of the calculations, how everything's been done. So don't start that crap. Oh, be nice. Just go have a look on my channel. Go back to the beginning with Cavendish, and I explain it very completely. Shouldn't have any problem finding it. Yeah, that's right, Lefty. I'm not a Freemason. I'm a damn expensive Mason. And you wouldn't like my masonry work at all. I can tell you right now, I've tried that. I'm no good at it. No good at all. Gravity is a tiny, tiny little force. It's the smallest of all. But it's fairly impressive to us when we look at what the Earth can produce, just because the Earth is so damn big. Trying to measure this gravitational constant is tricky. It takes a special apparatus to be able to do it. Yeah, tiny doesn't mean non-existent. Tiny just means small. You need a special apparatus to be able to measure something that small. That's right, Citizen 9. We found a flat earther for you to play with. So I'll tell you what I can do. Nah, 42. We're not going to make the flirts naked again. Nope. We're not going to do that. No, you're right. We can't show it between two buildings. You're right. Can't show it between two people. Force is too small. I could build an apparatus that would allow us to measure the force between two people or two buildings. But we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars if you want to measure it between two buildings. Well, I'll tell you what weight is. Weight is not something. Weight is not relative density disequilibrium. That's what weight is not. Weight is mass times acceleration. That acceleration is gravity. Get over it. All right, so I think what I'll do, yeah, Optimine, that's what it is. Yeah, it would take a lot of money if you want to come up with an apparatus to measure the force of attraction between two buildings. Think about it. Think about what you're asking. It's just silly. So we got two. We can do two things. I'm essentially done. If you guys want to stick around, I'll leave the chat running for a while. I'll just put the mic on mute and go download this video and this time lapse. Run a quick analysis on it and tell you how things turned out. That sounds good. Type 1 in the chat for me. Or if you're ready to quit, type 2. Optimum, you honestly don't know what you're talking about. You don't know anything about how these measurements have to be made or what you would have to do. You can't even envision what you would have to do to try to measure the force of attraction between two buildings. So don't be silly. What angle do you want to see? Is there some angle you would rather see than this? I'll move the camera right now. What do you want to see? Okay, he's fair game. Don't make any of the mods mad, Optimine. They'll time you out. Okay, looks like the ones have it. So I'll be back shortly. I'm going to put the mic on mute and go do a little work. And I'm back. So, anybody that wants to can go over into the Discord channel, and I have posted the plot from Tracker and the spreadsheet calculations. And you can verify it for yourself. I have not checked I didn't take the time to verify the oscillation period. So I'm using, I think, 966 or 65 seconds. So I'll go back and do that later. I have to pull the numbers off and do a little hand calculating, but to come up with it. But it doesn't change very much. So I'm glad we did this stream today. This time that you've seen the full thing. You saw the experiment from beginning to end. You see the plot that results from Tracker running that time lapse. In fact, I can put the time lapse in the chat, or in the over in the Discord too, if you want to just watch that and see what it looks like. But yeah, there you have it. That's the number I've been consistently getting, is right around, that one hit right on top of the average number that I've been getting. 6.62 times 10 to the minus 11th. And I still haven't verified the actual mass of these lead balls. They could be a little lighter than the number I'm using. That's always possible. But let it not be said that we can't measure the value of G in the garage if we really want to. Hell yes, we can. That's okay, Lefty. But it'll be over there in the Discord anytime you guys want to look at it. In fact, I may make just a special place to put those. I've got lots of those graphs saved up. Just let you have a look at them. Unlike the flat earthers, we don't hide things. It's all out here for you to see. But that only took 2 hours. Let's see, we've been streaming 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's a really efficient way of doing it. Not Lefty, I hadn't sorted out a lot of that stuff yet. I got to get around to it. The errors of the systematic errors are accounted for in the calculations. I need to do some thinking about other forms of random error that could be included, because that ought to go into the error bar too. But yeah, I'm happy with the way that worked out. And that follows exactly the method that Cavendish used. Cavendish said that the measurement should be made as soon after you move the masses, as soon after you move the weights as possible. And he only suggested using three of the extremes, but I usually use 4 of them. But anyway, I think that's about the show, folks. Anybody else got anything? Any questions? Hello, Mark. Don't think I spoke to you yet. Yeah, I hope you guys had fun today. I've really enjoyed running this one. I've been meaning to try an abbreviated version to see how it works out. That was about half the length of time that I've normally spent. But you're not going to use all those oscillations anyway. There's no real reason to let it go for 3 or 4 hours. And the closer together you put the measurements, the better off you are. That helps take care of random errors that creep into things. Still got 27 people watching. That's great. I really appreciate everybody showing up. Lots of likes too. That's great. Absolutely perfect. What'd you guys do with our flurf? You get all scared and run away or something? Yeah, who knows? I don't mind them coming by. I like for them to be here. I think they ought to come by and check out what's going on. I don't think they ought to come over here and ask dumbass questions like measuring the attractive force between 2 buildings. That's just beyond stupid. But I guess we've all found out that that's really what they're up to anyway. No matter what you do, they're going to try to figure out a way to make it impossible to perform the test you need to perform. Meteor sighting, Dart. Where? Yeah, yeah. That'll stump you, all right. Oh, give me a couple $100 million, and I think I could come up with a gizmo that would measure the attractive force between 2 buildings. They wouldn't be good for anything other than running that silly ass test, though. Yeah, 2 buildings in a vacuum. Yeah, exactly. Would I make it out of wood? Yeah, right. I think I'd just pour 2 really big chunks of concrete. Force the building. There you go, Robert. You guys are on top of it. Well, it is 6:30 in the evening, almost, on a Sunday. And I'm thinking Ms. Blue has a couple of hamburgers ready for us to eat in there. So I believe I'm going to shut it down, call it a night, and we'll try to do this again maybe a few more times this week. Get a few more of these in the book so we can say the testing phase is over with and concentrate on what comes next. Maybe I'll borrow one of these big lead balls and make a Foucault pendulum in here. Yeah, we could do that. That'd be fun. No, Don, this is not a cooking show. We are not making banana pudding tonight. I'll do it, Dora. Thank you. All right, well, you guys take care. I'm going to shut the stream off, and we will catch you on the next one.